it's a big deal. This is really a big deal. It's hard to downplay how serious this really is.
You know, you cannot picket or protest anything in the building.
Because it's not just Muslims they're going after. It's not just immigrants they're going after. They're going after all of us. When the government starts to consider everybody a suspect, that's a real problem. That's a real problem. Our civil liberties are at risk. Our freedom of speech is at risk. Our freedom to worship is at risk. And our right to privacy is at risk.
Okay, no, that's fine. They've requested that you don't have access. They don't want to see you.
It's a federal bureau. That's in the name. We are citizens who'd like to talk to them.
I understand that they've conveyed they don't want to see
you. There's illegal things happening here. You know that if you've read the papers. It's not kicking down doors, investigating nonviolent protest as terrorism. You know, there's a crime taking place inside there, and maybe your presence might be more useful inside. Could I just slip this under the door?
You cannot. The attendants requested no contact with you.
We're here to deliver a letter to the government. We're the taxpayers. We just want to deliver the letter and then we'll leave.
I understand that.
No contact with anybody in particular, or just anybody who showed up today?
Okay, the resident agent in charge has requested no contact
with who?
With who? Yeah.
With another number. I'm just going to call them real quick and see if they come out. Hi, is this the Des Moines office of the FBI? My name is David Goodner. I'm with the First Amendment Protection Bureau. We're outside of your office and we're here to deliver a letter. Could you please come out and accept the letter?
Visiting the FBI than the FBI is when they visit.
Oh, there's more.
Hey, I tell you what, the instruction from the FBI is if you want to send them any correspondence, send them through U.S. mail.
Well, that's not up to them to decide. I mean, the Constitution has decided that we have a right to peacefully assemble to address government. They have a duty to listen to us. I'd like to at least just slip this under the door. And, you know,
At this time, the instructions are that they are not have any contact with you. They don't want contact with you. They don't. Hey, how are you? They don't want to receive correspondence. I don't know.
America, we're supposed to have a First Amendment right to address grievances with our government. This is a government, Federal Bureau of Investigation. We have a right to talk to them.
And no one's denying that.
Yes, you are.
If you want to present something to them, they have requested just put it in the mail it to them, and they'll address it that way.
Can you just give it to them? Can you just walk in and
That's an abridgment of our right to address.
We have a letter that we want. It's addressed to the Robert Mueller, the head of the FBI, and all we want them is to fax it to him in D.C.
Just put a stamp on it.
Why can't we just give it to them?
Really? We're right here.
We're right here.
It's urgent. That's why we're here as citizens, because it's the urgency of the message.
But they, as tenants, do not want to meet with you.
Who do they not want to meet with?
Why?
Who doesn't want to meet with us and why?
Who are we?
I cannot speak.
Some people say that the FBI is unresponsive to the public. Do you think that this kind of so you guys can see us, but we can't see you.
Yeah.
Right? That's the way it always works.
This is directed to Robert S. Mueller, Director, Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Edgar Hoover Building, Washington, D.C. Stop FBI raids, harassment, and repression of organized peace movement. This is y'all inside, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
On behalf of the American Friends Service Committee of Iowa, the Des Moines chapter of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, Des Moines Catholic Worker, Strangers and Guest Catholic Worker, and our allies across Iowa and the nation, we strongly condemn the FBI's September 24th raids at the homes and offices of peace organizations and international solidarity activists in Chicago, Illinois, and Minneapolis, Minnesota. During these raids, the FBI delivered subpoenas to 11 activists in 3 states, accused them of providing material support of foreign terrorist organizations and ordered them to testify before a federal grand jury in Chicago on Tuesday.
The FBI spent hundreds of hours spying on student and community organizations in Iowa City, Iowa, that participated in direct action street protests at the 2008 Republican National Convention in St. Paul, Minnesota.
We denounce the government harassment and repression of grassroots community organizations working to create a more just and democratic society as a violation of our universal human rights protected by the First and Fourth Amendments to the U.S. Constitution. This suppression of civil liberties is aimed at those who dedicate their time and energy supporting the people of Afghanistan, Colombia, Iraq, Palestine, Pakistan, Somalia, and Yemen as they wage legitimate liberation struggles against U.S.-funded wars and occupations overseas. We consider the targeting of international solidarity activists and our organizations to be a deliberate attempt to isolate legitimate popular resistance struggles abroad from the U.S.-based support they depend on in part for the small degree of safety solidarity organizations can help to provide them. As such, we consider the FBI's repression to not only threaten us, our communities, and the American people, we also view it as a threat against the peoples of the aforementioned countries legitimately resisting U.S.-sponsored terrorism and oppression.
Time's up.
This criminalization of dissent and militarization of
I
society.
never heard of
This criminalization of dissent and militarization of society are the actions of a corporate police state and a wasteful and risky use of taxpayer dollars that could be better spent fulfilling unmet social needs in our neighborhood communities. We will not be silenced or intimidated, and we call on all people of conscience to join the nonviolent resistance movement working to create a better tomorrow for all living things. Toward this end, we call on FBI Director Robert Mueller III to order the FBI to stop its campaign of repression against peace and justice organizations and end the grand jury fishing expedition against our social movements. And special agents of the FBI assigned to Midwest regional offices generally, and the state of Iowa specifically, to adhere to the law, their oath of office, and to refuse to engage in illegal surveillance of constitutionally protected activities.
Enjoy the weather, Brian.
We ended up being here a lot longer this way. It would have been quicker. Okay.
Well, as you saw, this is a very absurd scene that just transpired in front of the FBI office, which really could have been, we could have been there less than 5 minutes had somebody politely taken our letter. The idea that this is a federal bureau that is a part of the government that is obligated under the First Amendment to tolerate peaceful assemblies to redress grievances. And we came with a grievance. We were polite. We were certainly more polite than the FBI has been visiting the homes of some of our friends and kicking doors down and rifling through their belongings. You know, we came respectfully. We came following the channels. And I am deeply saddened, not just by the FBI showing their lack of respect for the law and lack of respect for the Constitution, but these Federal Protection Services police who also took an oath to uphold the Constitution, whose job it would have been, I would think, to tell the FBI, hey, answer the door, take the petition, talk to these people. But this is all a part of the only way this illegal war in Afghanistan and Pakistan and Iraq, it can only happen in secrecy, and it can't happen if the government allows open conversation and transparency. So.